I am so sorry to trans service members who have served, are currently serving, and who are now no longer qualified to serve in the military. I'm not sure how the order was put out for the other branches, but here's how it was put out for the Navy and the Marines. Right there, Alnav 023/25. Subject line right below me. Initial direction on prioritizing military excellence and readiness. Here is the complete list of references they used when crafting this nav admin. The very first one being, of course, Trump's executive order defending women from gender ideology and extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. Now, on this executive order, defending women from extremism, as somebody who is a woman who served in the military for 9 years, 5 of those years were on an aircraft carrier, trans service members were not the problem. I had to defend myself from fucking men. Inappropriate comments, unwanted advances, straight up sexual harassment, pictures and videos taken without consent, some creep using your listed points of contact for fucking creepy communication. I had to be hypervigilant about that as a woman in the military, not gender ideology. But I digress. Here's where it actually starts. You can pause to read it, or I will provide the link to it in one of the comments and in the description. But you know, the first line is pursuant to reference A, that's the executive order, the Department of the Navy recognizes two sexes, male and female. An individual's sex is immutable, unchanging during a person's life. References B, C, and D establish that individuals who have a current diagnosis, history of, or exhibit symptoms consistent with gender dysphoria are no longer eligible for military service, except as described in reference D. We'll get to that. After the 28th of March, 2025, the Department of the Navy will initiate involuntary administrative separation for these personnel and others who are disqualified for military services per references C and D. This message provides procedures for voluntary separation of impacted personnel. If you need a translation for that, basically it's saying that trans service members need to apply for voluntary separation before the 28th of March, 2025. After the 28th of March, it will be involuntary separation. Second paragraph, you can pause to read, basically deals with the admin side of how this is going to happen. Paragraph 3 goes over people who are currently waiting to get into the military. You can pause to read. Here's the waivers paragraph. Military personnel who are no longer eligible for military service, as well as applicants for military service who are disqualified, may be considered for a retention or an accession waiver on a case-by-case basis, provided there is a compelling government interest in retaining or assessing such individuals that directly supports warfighting capabilities. Only the Secretary of the Navy has the authority to grant a waiver. But there are conditions. Further guidance on submission of waivers will be provided. However, submission of a waiver will not change the deadline to request voluntary separation in paragraph 5 below. Here it is. To be eligible for a waiver, military personnel or applicants for military service must meet the following criteria. A, the individual demonstrates 36 consecutive months of stability in the individual's sex without clinically significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. And B, the individual demonstrates that he or she has never attempted to transition to any sex other than his or her sex, and the individual is willing and able to adhere to all applicable standards, including the standards associated with his or her sex. So basically, if you've gotten any kind of treatment for gender dysphoria, you can try to get a waiver. Paragraph 5 goes over voluntary separation. You can pause to read. But I just want to highlight B, right under me, Any remaining military service obligation will be waived for members requesting voluntary separation. Any bonus received to the 26th of February 2025 and subject to a service obligation will not be recouped. So if you got a bonus, goodbye. In addition, members of the U.S. Naval Academy and the NROTC will not be subject to monetary repayment of education benefits. Well, I would hope not. You're kicking them out. Paragraph C just basically says, hey, an officer is going to be in charge of this. Paragraph D says that their discharge will be honorable, unless the records indicate that it should be otherwise. Paragraph E for me is the big one. Military personnel requesting voluntary separation and eligible for voluntary separation pay in accordance with references H and I, CNO and CMC will authorize the voluntary separation pay at a rate that is twice the amount of involuntary separation pay. However, right above me, voluntary separation pay is not payable to those with less than 6 years of service or more than 20 years of service. No member receiving voluntary separation pay in accordance with this Alnav will be required to serve in the Ready Reserve Force. The CNO and CMC are authorized temporary early retirement authority for members with over 18 years but less than 20 years of active duty service, as per reference K. That last part just goes how they will be reassigned until they are separated. Oh, but wait, there's more. Paragraph 6, administrative absence. Members with an improved exception to policy that is revoked pursuant to paragraph 2 alpha will be offered administrative absence status pending action on the member's separation. Going back up to paragraph 2 alpha, it's right next to me. Effective immediately, all exceptions to policy allowing a member to conform to standards associated with a sex different from their identification in the Defense Enrollment Eligibility Reporting System, or DEERS, approved in accordance with reference E are revoked and no further exceptions will be approved. The CNO and CMC will place members who request voluntary separation in accordance with this Alnav in administrative absence status. Members placed in administrative absence status in accordance with this Alnav will be entitled to full pay and benefits, and they will be designated as non-deployable until separation is complete. Members in administrative absence will complete all pre-separation requirements, including the Transition Assistance Program per Reference 1, and will be afforded the maximum flexibility to complete such requirements remotely or in civilian attire. So if your DEERS is currently being updated to reflect your gender status, that will be canceled. It will take a while, and until it is, you will be placed on administrative absence. You can pause and read the rest of it if you want, but it's basically follow the law, maintain status updates, and turn in those voluntary separation requests. Like I said earlier, as a woman who worked in the military, the only thing I had to be defended from was men. Trans service members deserve to be there. I stand by that. Anybody who is crazy enough to hold up their right hand and swear an oath to their country deserves to be there. When I was first told that I was going to be medically retired, I was mad. I love my country. I wanted to serve my country. I was good at my job and I wanted to keep doing it. But now, 6 months later, I'm glad I got out when I did. I might just be thinking of the worst possible scenario, but I don't think they're going to stop at trans service members. I really hope I'm wrong about that.